Welcome back. We learned to interact with Kafka as a source and also as a sink. Now you should be confident to read a stream from Kafka, transform it in real time, and finally sync your output to Apache Kafka. Kafka works on a key-value pair. So when you read data from Kafka, you will get a record with the following schema. Similarly, when you want to send the record to Kafka, you should create a data frame of a similar type. But everything except key and value is optional. In fact, we do not specify anything else except key and value in most of the cases. The rest of the fields are automatically filled by the Spark Kafka Sync API, and that's perfectly fine. I'm showing this schema here to help you realize the key and the value fields data type. The key as well as the value column in Kafka record is of binary type. So, when you are reading Kafka records, you must know the actual type of your key and value. If you know the types, you can easily deserialize them. Let me explain this. We have three common and popular types to use in Apache Kafka: string or CSV, JSON, and Avro. We already used examples of JSON. Let me show you once again. In this example, the value field comes as binary. But we know that the actual type is a JSON string. The JSON is also a string, right? So we cast the value field as a string. Now I have a string. However, this string is not enough for us. We know it is a JSON. So we want to deserialize the JSON also. Spark gives you the from JSON function for doing this. What if it was a CSV instead of JSON? Possible? Yes, it is possible. You might get a CSV string in the value field, right? Nothing to worry. Spark gives you a from CSV function to deserialize a CSV. The from CSV method works in the same way we used the from JSON. The from CSV function also takes two arguments. The first argument is the value and the second one is the schema. But what if it was an Avro record? Avro is also a standard message format with Kafka. The main idea is the same. Spark offers a from Avro function also. However, using from Avro requires some more details. So, I'll create one example to show you the mechanics of using Avro records from Apache Kafka. Great. So, all this discussion on deserializing your Kafka records was on the reading side. I mean, when you read data from Kafka, you will use one of the following methods to deserialize your key value. If your key value is a plain string, you can cast it to a string. That should be enough. If you received a JSON or CSV, you should cast it as a string and use from JSON or the from CSV function. But if you received an Avro record, you should be using from Avro function. Casting an Avro to a string is incorrect. You should not be doing it. However, we also have a writing side of Kafka interaction. How do you write your data frame to Kafka in CSV, JSON, and Avro formats? We already implemented writing a JSON record to Kafka, right? Let me show you once again. Here it is. So, you can use toJSON function to create a JSON value from your data frame. The toJSON function alone is not enough. We often need another function such as struct or named struct. The struct and the named struct are used to create a data frame structure. The outcome is again used by the toJSON for generating a JSON string. The struct method takes a list of selected columns, whereas the named struct allows you to rename the selected columns. We have already done all this, and I hope you learned to serialize your data frame to JSON and send the JSON values to Kafka, right? What if you want to send your data frame as CSV value? Nothing to worry. You also have a toCSV function. The toCSV function works in the same way we used the toJSON function. No other difference at all. What about Avro? You have a toAvro function for doing that. I'll show you an example of Avro. But I'm skipping examples for CSV because they work the same way as JSON. Great. We learned some theory about serializing and deserializing Kafka records. We already learned to work with JSON. In the next two videos, I'll create examples for writing an Avro record to Kafka, and then we will be reading the same Avro record from Kafka. See you again. Keep learning and keep growing.